vote. So if you haven't already been told that you can, then you can't, but you're welcome to attend. Everything we have is for all the people that attend, but it's just on that one thing that you will not be able to vote. Okay? So if you're not sure of if you are able to vote, if you're not a member, if you don't have a membership here, if you never went through a membership class at any time in Stonehaven, then you would not be eligible to vote. Right? I want to present first a slide, PowerPoint, at the end of which I'm glad to take some questions. I've tried to make it where instead of sort of going through and answering each one, I've got it set to an automatic timer so that we'll go through it in a set time, just about 11 minutes or so. And at the end of that time, I'll go ahead and take some questions. Okay? So if you can go ahead and start the PowerPoint for the... Which one do you want? There's the one that is in the folder, the same one that the message was in, dated 1/27, and it says in their annual meeting. Yeah, that one's up. Yeah, Stonehaven annual report. That's it. Our mission is to help people find and follow Jesus. Now, that might sound really simple, but that is something that was developed by the leadership team. It's just basically extracting from the Great Commission and from what God has placed in our hearts. This is where we want the impetus to be, and everything we do, we want it to be reflective upon that particular mission. We do not want to just start going in directions that maybe it's a good thing, but it's not in line with that mission. Are you playing it? Okay, it should be. No automatic timer there? There should be an automatic timer. There you go. All right. You can turn the music down some. I like it in the background. That's real loud. So again, our mission is to help people find and follow Jesus. And the way that what we really mean by that is we want to be more missional. And so living out our mission is up towards God, it's in towards one another, and then out towards the community. So our Sunday weekly gatherings devote time of worship, celebration, and empowerment. Our small groups are opportunities for fellowship, growth, and accountability. And during the week, we reach out to the world and allow our lights to shine through our service and witness. So that's how we plan on accomplishing being truthful. Our teams and small groups aid in making disciples of Jesus by providing opportunities to serve, grow in faith, and in the knowledge of God's Word. Team leaders are helping providing prayer, encouragement, and accountability. And we really want to utilize that more in the future. So we impact those in need outside of the walls of Stonehaven, really by letting our light shine. Others see our good works of caring, sharing, and helping, and it glorifies our Father in heaven. When we keep other needs for Christ first, then we're doing the work of an evangelist, and we are actually being missionaries. But everything we do is to be underlined with prayer. Right there you have Pastor Thomas Ramongo, who did the prayer summit here. We are a praying church. We are a praying people. He will be coming back on June 16th, Father's Day, and he will be speaking again at our service at that time. But we want to cover everything that we do, all of our outreaches and all of the things in here with prayer. And the scripture declares the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And we're told that we will reap if we faint not. So as we look out at outreaches and evangelism, we know we'll be fruitful and successful if we continue and if we are faithful. So that is our goal. We have some different strategies that we're developing at the time, but we know that Jesus has called us to do. This is his heart, so is our heart. We believe we will be able to impact the Metro Detroit area, where we are called to plant at least one church every 2 to 5 years. Right now, we're working with the Giver Church and, of course, Detroit Brethren Church, where she is at, on different apostolic initiatives. But right now, we're not heading any apostolic initiative, but the church plan is considered an apostolic initiative or group life. But we're serving God and by serving Troy and Oakland County through such things here at the church and in the community, such as the AA meetings, draws in approximately 50 people twice a week. We did a trunk or treat. We have families at Christmas time. The veteran dinner is coming up. There's a shuttle service that's going from Crossing Manor. And there's a workshop here for people involved in domestic trafficking and sexual exploitation. Now, the men's retreat here, we really want to make sure we're focusing also upon relational. So the men's retreat, it was a way for that, but we also have the golf outing. We had other outings that we're looking at to create strong bonds of fellowship, encouragement, and accountability. Game night is a way that we can take our fellowship level up a level. You see Big John is smiling. This is something that Sister Michelle had really emphasized and came up with. We want to do it more towards the warmer weather in the summer, so spring and late summer. The dinner of 8, likewise, breaking the bread in the Bible provides informal opportunity not only to know each other, but to invite friends, neighbors, and families into the mix. So we have, did it went out? Okay, so start it. Go ahead and just start it there. Look like it's going. So the dinner for 8, that's something that we look at right in our home, in our community environment. Can you click to the next one? Does it just go there? You click on it?
PowerPoint 2007 has not been detected on your computer. It must be installed and used. Looks like we have the wrong version of PowerPoint on here.
Okay, well, I guess I will just have to do it without the aid of a PowerPoint. That's what happens when you come addicted on this technology. It will fail. One of the things we had here was the church cleanup, and where they come, they help out, usually the spring cleanup outside. Those types of things, we'd really like to see more. Mike does so much around here. And okay, as someone said, many hands make light alone, so we want to not to put it all on one person. The Super Bowl Sunday last year, we had a group that went down and we served there. It's a great opportunity to meet some of those that are most neediest. Last year, the crop walk was 12 people, I believe. This year, May 5th, Michael Vinsky will be heading up the team for that crop walk. We'd like to encourage people to get involved. Those are the kind of things you need to get your friends and neighbors involved in as well. Martin Luther King Day, this was a community event at the school, and we had a group that went out there, so they were helping the days of services. It's also an opportunity to get to know your neighbors. Across the manor, of course, Pastor Sheila is now the chaplain there, so she's doing a weekly service every Thursday, twice a month on a Sunday evening, she's doing service. So we've really been come a long ways there. We're still looking at other ways to develop. The blood drive, we have James Tate, a high school student, and his family. They sound like they're willing to continue for years to come. We're doing twice a year there. But other community events, we did a car clinic. Here you see John Franklin. He was showing you how to do a tune-up, oil change stuff on his car, change the tires. Lisa Bridger had also at that time a tool shed, tool cell. So we're able to help the widow and help the community at the same time. But we really feel that one of the keys to discipleship is going to be in our small group. That's what people are going to be most effectively discipled. So we're looking at how we can take and expand our small group, not in a way that courses change or it's not something that people embrace, but through Bible studies and other accountability groups, we want to see the small group grow. One of the most successful ones we have right now is the Women of Faith, formerly the Women of the Word, with Pastor, I want to call it Pastor, with Sister Michelle. But she's doing a great job. Over in the Children's Church, we have Deanna has come on, and she is heading up the Curiosity Corner and the Adventure Land. They have been really organized. We have several people that are helping out in that ministry now. We did a play, Lloyd Young helped it out with the skit for Christmas, and we have a very well attended event. With the older youth, Hope Ash has come along, and she is really meeting with them on a regular basis, and so we're so thankful for those that are here. Last year and again this year, Friday, July 26th, we had a New Legacy concert here. It was mostly Stonehaven, but we feel that we have the potential to make this more of an outreach into the community as well. Pastor Sheila wanted to do a women's conference. Last year she did a luncheon, but there are several things that made this year not possible. We postponed it, we have canceled it, but right now we do not have a date. But we want to do some things that are going to empower the women, not only at Stonehaven, but in the community. So whether it's here at the church or whether it's in the community. The heart of Pre-Methodist is the mission. We support Pre-Methodist World Missions, including Al and Diane Bellinger, who will be here speaking August 11th. He'll be speaking at the 11 o'clock service and also at the 9:15. They support several ministries. They have items made. This is over in Jackson. I was actually the first customer to the store there. They sell these items to support it. But we also have other missions. This is Seth and Pop Ted. I had a chance to meet Pop Ted over in Jackson with the help of Lisa, and of course you know Seth. So these are some of the things, but there's a whole lot that we just couldn't get through. So we just put them up on the board for you so you can see some of the things that we're doing. And what we're really trying to do is not just do more, but be more effective in what we're doing. We want to be a service not only to the church, but to the community. And sometimes when I say that, people like in the church are also, are you going to neglect us to serve the community? We do not want to neglect the church to serve the community, but we feel that it is the call of the church to be a light in the community. So that means we have to be there. We have to have a means to engage them and contact them. And we have several things that we've used in the past to this end. So some of those things are there. We're still in the process right now. We were supposed to meet with the leadership team tomorrow at 6:30. Excuse me, yes, 6:30. But we are, because of the weather, we're going to have to cancel that. I do not want people to be like the baker who came out here on Wednesday, fell in the parking lot in the ice, getting back in his car, and has a insurance claim that we have with this church as a result. So we don't want to put people in jeopardy, but we will be still working upon not only some of the values, but some of the strategies and the vision of the church. So how we can go forward. So we want it to be something that all of us are inputting into. We do not want to come up with something that we say, okay, here's my plan, now you guys get in line behind my plan. We feel like it has to be something that we as a body come up. And so right now we're in the process of evaluating our values so that we can say, for instance, fellowship. When church starts and people are out there, we almost have to go tie me up and bring me in here because people would rather fellowship sometimes, it seems, than come in. So we know that this church values fellowship. So many times we're not trying to say, hey, you need to value fellowship. We're saying, this is just part of our DNA. This is who I am. This is who Stonehaven. Some of them may not be as part of our DNA, and it may be more aspirational. So that is where we're at right now in that process. But we're still going forward. We cannot afford just to stop and not move forward. So at this time, I'd like to take any questions that anyone has about what you saw. And if you said, okay, what are we doing or what are we going to do this year? I put a few of them up there, but if you have those kind of questions, I'll be glad to share with you where we're at right now. Okay? Well, okay, I have one over here, Gary.
What's the Rochester Bible study?
The Rochester Hills was a Bible study it was a whole Bible study. at a person that, there's several Bible studies that people that attend do not attend here on a regular basis. Michelle has at least one, maybe two, three, that attend on a regular basis, and they don't attend here. Well, the Rochester Hills one was at a church, at a home in Rochester Hill. We had Richard Georgie was leading the Bible study. It had a start date and a stop date, and a lot of the types of events that we have in homes like that will probably have this type of thing. It won't be just the women of faith and the Quads of Manor Bible studies have been ongoing. So those are ones and places that we have some kind of association with. So there may be other home Bible studies and things that we will not have that in, that we're invited to come in for a series of a topic like worship, or like stewardship, or like how to study the Bible or something like that. Yeah.
If anyone has any ideas for activities or community events, be sure to give those to board member leadership team for future consideration. Always open to ideas.
Amen. If you didn't hear him, he said if you have some ideas, please submit your ideas. Some of the ideas that have come forth already that we haven't done, one of them is a potluck, an ethnic potluck, where if you're German background, if you're Swedish background, or if you're Iraqi, you would maybe after church, we just would have everyone bring in their special dish, sweet potato pie, and just enjoy those packages. Okay? So that's something. Other one was for the kids. We've seen the game night, but we would like to be able to maybe utilize the area that is a gym that we utilize as a fellowship area, maybe for some of the kids sometime. And I was talking to someone today, and they were telling me they came here because their friend of their child invited them to come out to a Christmas event here. So sometimes the parents will come because the kids will. Okay? So those are the kinds of ideas that we have on the thing. I think you see the golf. I think the golfing one was John Myers. It's not here, but it's a fellowship type of thing. Yeah? So John Myers has given us the dates for this year. We'll have that out there, and I didn't participate last year, but I want to at some level. Okay, if no more questions, there is a presentation from Ed. Ed, I might have to, I had yours up there. Yeah, his starts right after the question one, okay, that you have to click on. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not Ed, I'm sorry, I said Ed. Wow. Sometimes I get you a Bob Pearson and stuff. I don't know why.
Bob was really prepared and did a nice slide. Me not so much. So we want to talk a little bit about the conference overall and the state of the conference. And I think you guys, if you've been paying attention at all, you understand that there is a real drive and a real movement to get us on a mission. And it's not a new mission. It's just to get us refocused on the mission. I don't know how many of you are in the same position that I am, but I grew up in the church, and I looked to the church to be my social circle. I know I had a lot of friends and siblings who went to church to find their spouses, and the church was like the center and the hub of your life. And while many of us have been attending church faithfully and coming in and doing church every Sunday, the world has changed. And people don't use the church the same way that they used to. There's ChristianSingles.com where they can go and find spouses, and all of their social life is on social media and schools and all the activities that the kids are involved in. And so churches have they're just not used the way they are. And so hanging the shingle and expecting people to show up and sit in these seats every morning, it just is not that way. And so there's been a sense of needing to refocus, and I liken it to the early Christian church and the way that the word got spread. It wasn't by inviting everybody into one place on a Sunday morning. It was going out and talking and meeting in people's homes, and it didn't have to be a Sunday morning. It was any time and every time. And so we have to think a little bit differently about how we get the word of the Lord into the hands and into the minds of the people who need it. And the conference overall has also been on a, how do I want to say this, backing away from real estate. There are several churches in the conference that have decided to use their church properties a little differently. We finally got rid of the Taylor loan debt, and there were a couple of other churches in the conference that closed this year. And there's one of the Dearborn churches had one of the vacant, Bob will mention this in a minute, but there was a vacant church, and they were like, we can still put this to use in some way. And so the conference is actually forming a board or a committee, a group, a team, to start looking at how can we use church facilities a little bit differently. I'm going to be on that team. I'm trying to talk Mike Liskey into being on that as well. There are some of the other people from the conference leadership board, but it is open. And so if someone is interested in being a part of that, to kind of look at what can we do. There are some that are opening kind of coffee shops, and some that are using the schools as preschools, or they're inviting homeschooling groups to come in and use the church facilities and so on. It's another way of generating a revenue stream, but it's also a way of getting people who might not come to the church into the church, and at least giving them a look at what's happening in the different places. So if you are interested, let me know. They've already had the first meeting, which I didn't get to go to, but Mike and I are going to join in with Craig Simmons, who is leading that team, and get caught up on that. But if you're interested in being a part of that, let me know.
Well, Lisa's up there. I just wanted to take a minute and have us thank her for her faithful service for the last few years. Lisa, as you know, led us through a traumatic period following Pastor Larry's passing. And I'm thankful for men like Pastor Chuck Connors and Pastor Bob England, who served as our interim pastors until the conference could appoint Pastor George and Pastor Sheila. Lisa was the person who's been helping shepherd that, and as we talked about it the other night, she said, and at some point she felt God just telling her to get out of the way. It's not easy for leaders to do that, because leaders feel like they have to do something, and so thank you, Lisa, for your obedience and your faithfulness in serving us. I'd like to talk with you about the conference's Mission Igniter Detroit initiative. And I was asked to talk about some of the things that are going on in the conference, and I picked this topic because I think it has potential impact for us. You'll see that as I go. You're going to hear the place, Dearborn Free Methodist Church, or Dearborn, quite a bit, because there are some connections that are happening in Dearborn, some things that are happening, and then I think you'll also see there's some Detroit connections, and I'll bring it all together at the end, okay? So next slide, please. So the Mission Igniter program is led by Pastor Dustin Weber. He was the pastor in Dearborn. There's the first Dearborn connection. The Mission Igniter program is the conference's church multiplication incubator. And as that term implies, it's a place where new ministries and new mission can give birth and grow to maturity. It's a place for new ideas to spring forth in an environment where people are surrounded by others that have done it before, and also with people that are in the process of doing it. Just the other day, the conference reported some good financial results, quite a bit of money coming in for this program. $646,000 in 2018, 229 individuals, and 16 corporations. So God is working, and resources are coming in to support it. Next slide, please. Now, the Detroit Initiative is something that's led by Pastor Mark Van Valen. And Mark was a pastor's son in Dearborn, where I went to church when I grew up. And he's been pastoring at the Spring Arbor Church for the past 15 years. And I think he's been doing a good job there. He could probably stay longer if he wanted to, but he believes that God is calling him back to an urban ministry, to Detroit. Mark began his career in Indianapolis, and he's coming back to Detroit toward the end of his career. But he has a big heart for the city. And he has a goal of trying to reach 1% of the current 650,000 person population within the next decade. So that's about 6,500 people that he would like to reach. And I'm prejudiced because I'm his friend, but I think he's one of the best we have in the conference. And I think the conference has also allocated a key resource in Dr. Sheila, who is currently the interim pastor at the Taylor Free Methodist Church. And, Detroit Redford. Thanks, Pastor George. Yeah, and she is there to shepherd and to lead the people during this interim period as they prepare for their new pastor. Pastor Sheila has been doing a great job from what I hear, and that Detroit Church is the only one within the actual city limits of Detroit, and it's been a meeting place for Mission Igniter, and it's also, they're using the kitchen, they're refurbishing the kitchen for use by the Detroit dinner churches. Next slide, please. So the dinner churches are headed by Pastor Mark and Mary Kreiderman and Pastor Bill Walters. Now, Mark was another preacher's kid from Dearborn, and Bill Walters was a member of our youth group, a couple years older than me, but he felt God's calling on his life later in life, and both he and his wife are in the ministry, and they are running the dinner churches. So what is dinner church? It's a place for folks to get a meal and to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. It attempts to reach people who wouldn't otherwise come to church on Sunday morning. These folks believe they have an opportunity to change the heart of the city. Down the road, they'd like to develop a ministry center to help disciple new Christians and to help develop new leaders. They have a big vision, Dinner churches in all 26 zip codes in Detroit, and then later on in all 96 neighborhoods. So this is a big vision that they have. Another support mechanism is something called the Revive Network. It was formed in Dearborn in 2017, and it's to provide practical services for the people of Metro Detroit. Now, Lisa alluded to it. There is a site called the Chandler Center. It's operating out of the Lincoln Park Free Methodist Church, and it's headed by Tom and Jennifer Jacobs, who are also coming out of Dearborn, another Dearborn connection. And they are trying to provide practical services, things like exercise classes, financial counseling, clothes and food pantry, and they have some ambitious future initiatives as well. Refugee outreach, some counseling, leadership coaching, daycare, citizenship prep, and urban farming. So a lot of different ways that they see being able to help people in the future. Next slide, please. So you see at the top of that slide all the different Dearborn connections, and there's a lot of them, right? But what about us? Do we have a Dearborn connection? Well, we do. It's Pastor Eric Owaskowitz. He's the lead pastor in Dearborn. He's been working with our leadership team at promoting new growth and effectiveness here. And what about a Detroit connection? Do we have one of those? We do, right? Dr. Sheila. And guess who Dr. Sheila's married to? Pastor George. So you can imagine there's conversations about, well, we could work together on this, or we could partner on that, or we could share resources. I know Lisa and I talked about it. She envisioned a time when we might become part of a network of Metro Detroit churches. And so we have a bit of a challenge, right? Because we don't regularly partner with Dearborn, Ferndale, Westland, Taylor, Detroit. You know, that's just something we haven't been doing regularly. So we have a challenge, but we also have an opportunity, right? An opportunity to overcome. And so I'll finish with what the Bible says about us. It says we are overcomers. Right? And I saw the pictures on the bulletin board in the back, lots of overcomers. 1 John 5:4, for everyone who has been born of God overcomes the world. And this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith in Christ. So I'll plant the seed and leave you to think more about that. Thank you.
Bob's also the person that picked up the pizza. Well, the next thing I wanted to look at on here was with Pastor Sheila being over at Detroit, there were a requirement for there to be some changes on the board. Originally, we had 7 board members. 2 of them were to be.
You think your battery might have died, you might want to pick up one of those mics.
Maybe I just use the regular one. Well,
There you are.
okay, well, again, with Pastor Sheila being assigned over to the Detroit Bedford Church, originally we had went from 5 members on the board up to 7, and one of those was a delegate, and one of those was an at-large board member. So with her being gone, we're going back to 1 delegate, and we're going to be 1 less at large. So we return from 7 board members back to 5 board members. And so the current board members that we have, we're going to introduce them. We do have one person that, one position that we're running for. So let me go through these members first. We have a secretary who is Ed. I think everybody knows Ed.
Hi, Ed.
We have our treasurer, and that is Don. Everybody knows Don. We currently have, one of the board members is Michael Linsky. He is stepping down as a trustee. He will continue to attend, but he'll be a non-voting member of the board. Okay? And then we have Bob Beardsley, who is one of the delegates. Of course, he was just up here. Bob, please raise your hand. And we have Lisa Brinkler, and she is ending her, she's not running for the position. She's just going to other things that God has for her at this hour, different season. So that leaves John Franklin, one of the at-large delegates. And also we have Linda Roos. She's back over here. So those are our delegates. So John's position is, his term is next year, 2020. And they're staggered, so Lisa's will end in 2020. Did I say Lisa again? Well, I've been doing that for her. I thought I probably got past it. I didn't call her Lisa. So Linda, she will, her term expires in January 2021. So the positions that we are running for, the secretary, Ed is running unopposed this year, so there's no ballot for him. And Don is running unopposed. There is no ballot for him. On your ballots, you will have Linda Abston. Linda, could you wave your hand back in the back? Bob Beardsley, over here. and Mary Kraft is over here. So when the ballots come, we're asking for only those that are authorized to vote to receive the ballot. At this time, can we have the tellers, Bob Beebe and John Young? Can you please come forward and receive the ballots?
And Pastor George, how many do we vote for?
We just vote for one.
One, thank you.
Oh, the ballot's not here? Oh, I'm sorry, we must have left them over. On the administrator's office. Oh, here. So if you need a pencil, there should be a pencil in the back of your chair. And while they're passing that out, I ask that you would vote and that you would return it. Now, we really appreciate each and every person that has agreed to run. I've seen in different places that I've been, sometimes there's a minimum, they have to have a minimum of 2 for each one. That is not in our bylaws here. We do not have to do that here. So if we have somebody and nobody else is running against them, there's not automatically somebody running against them. But for those that have agreed to run, we know that any of them will be a great delegate. I believe at least one, maybe both of them have served in that capacity before. Okay, if you voted, you can hold up your ballot and one of the tellers will collect your ballot. I do want to say that one of the things that was said about the missional work, the word mission means sent. And the ideal of being a missional church means we won't just wait for people to come through the door. We'll try to welcome them when they come in. But I hope that you understand that you're all to be missional. We are all to be missional. We are all to represent Christ wherever we go. And if we do that, we will impact the world around us. That doesn't always mean that somebody's going to come back here to the church with you. That's not going to always happen. But whether they come here or go somewhere else, you are still called to be a light in dark places. You're still called to go to the lost, to compel them to come. But here, we want this to be a place where people are welcome. I think sometimes to myself, am I close to new people coming into my life? Am I close to new relationships? If somebody said, I really want to get to know George, maybe go out to dinner with them or hang out with them someday, am I even open to that? Or am I so much into my world that I don't have time for somebody else? If that's where you're at, I pray that you think about that. Because I can't really say what it means for you when new people walk through the door. But some of those new people, they're going to be looking for people not just to see on a Sunday, not just once a week for 1 hour to be friends with. They're going to be looking for people that they want relationships with. Report that he's going to present. Let's give him a hand.
That's what I want to hear. A hand before you speak. Okay, I'm going to talk about 4 things today. First of all, I'm going to talk about the value of volunteerism. I'm going to give you the financial report for 2018. And I'm going to present the budget for 2019. And I'm going to wrap it up with an update on the electronic LED sign that we will install eventually this year, hopefully, out front by the office. And what I'm going to do is, I've got several slides. I'm an accountant. This is a financial report, so you're going to see a lot of numbers. I tried to put it in a simple to understand, quickly to communicate format as possible. But if that also. With that, I'm going to get started. First of all, there are two things that are absolutely required to keep the doors of this church open. The first thing, maybe not the first thing, there's always finances. That's just one of the two. But there's also, as Pastor George alluded to, is the volunteerism. So much happens behind the scenes that many of us may not think about, certainly don't take for granted. Worship team up here. Every Sunday, the worship team's up here leading us in song. I take some preparation, I take some rehearsal, some time and effort and talent that I'm willing to share with us. I can't imagine a Sunday service without the worship team. Coffee Cafe, we walk in. Isn't it nice to have coffee and goodies laid out for us? And we talk and just go pick it up. Somebody has to set that up. Somebody has to buy it. Somebody has to clean it up. There's volunteers that take care of all of that. The kids, we've got the children's programs. Adventureland, the Curiosity Corner, tweens, teens, whatever kind of programs are going on requires somebody's talent, time, and efforts to take care of it. You've got your ushers, you've got your counters, you've got your drama team, you've got your pencil makers. When I reached for a pencil, it was sharpened. It didn't happen by itself, somebody sharpened it. Somebody's got to coordinate those efforts, and there has to be a team of volunteers. So, first thing I want to do is recognize the value of volunteerism and give a big hand to all those that volunteer. So please do. Quite frankly, many of the volunteers are in this room, so we're actually complimenting each other. Now I'd like to talk about the financial report for 2018. Three areas. I'm going to first talk about the financial position, which is the cash position of the church. After that, I'm going to talk about the budget to actual expenses. And after that, I'm going to show you a 3-year comparison of the actual operations financially of the church. As you look up there on you'll see basically two categories. The church is blessed at this point to have adequate financial resources. There is cash available, as you see up there, roughly $10,000, available to pay church expenses. Obviously, we get bills. When we get into the budget, I'll show you some of the things we have to pay dollars and cents for. But we got some money in the account for backup for general operations. And if you look at the next number, nice number, $82,000. That's a pretty nice number. And yes, we're very blessed. I want to help you put that in perspective. Over the last several years, we've been building up that pool primarily because as you pull in a parking lot in the summertime, you don't notice that a lot of snow as much now, except for maybe potholes in there. That parking lot's going to have to be replaced in the next few years. We've been moving along, patching it, sealing it, doing what needs to be done to get by. But once that parking lot has to be torn up and replaced, we're looking at a 6-digit, some $1,000 expenditure. Not last year, but the year before last, we spent another almost $25,000 on a roof. Big things happen. We don't budget for those big things because we don't know exactly when they're going to happen. We budget for the maintenance to prolong the life of the property. But at 2000, we're very fortunate to have set aside for some big expenses. The other two items, the $29,000 for non-budget special purpose activities. That's money that set aside is not available for general use within the church because people have made contributions for special activities. For example, if you're part of the golf club, you pay your money in, the church accumulates it for a month or two maybe, then it eventually pays it out to the golf course. That's one example. Some people contribute money they want to go to world missions or local missions. And these earmarked to be used specifically for that purpose. Some people make contributions to go for congregational or benevolent fund usage. People have hardships in the congregation or the business or the community. So, but that money is set aside, there's a list of all the different items, there's probably a dozen of them, maybe more. It's in that detailed report down there if you want to take a look at it. But that's money sitting in the bank, that's there for a specific reason, reasons. And the last item, the 33,000, that's what we've accumulated to go towards the roughly $40,000 cost of the electronic LED sign we put up front. So we're blessed to have that set aside. We're substantially toward that $40,000 goal. Okay, that's the financial position of the church. I haven't seen any hands yet, but if you have any questions, pop them up. We'll talk about it. Okay, now come the numbers. If you look on the budget side, would be on your right. This is what we started out the year expecting to spend. The board goes through, looks at the expenses, and decides what they want to do on a have-to-do basis, like pay utilities, but also there's things we would like to do. So we started out the year with a like-to-do budget of $233,000. Well, we actually spent $203,000 in the 5 primary categories that you see there. First in education, primarily the children's programs in the back. Doesn't take a lot of money for 2 reasons. Most of it's somebody's time and talent to watch over the kids and the supplies that they need. Many times the people volunteer their time, also buy the supplies. But we didn't set aside a lot of money for that. We spent even less. The programs went on. Fellowship, Pastor George mentioned, this church has a very, very high end fellowship. We spend a lot of time. So most of that is going to be involved in meals. Like we had pizza today. We have a coffee cafe. It was kitchen supplies and stuff that have to be purchased. Once again, not a big line item. We're spending even less. I've got to say, the board, the people that are in charge of spending the money that you contribute to God's purposes is spent extremely wisely. Flowers, funerals, baby showers, all kind of stuff goes in the fellowship category. Not a lot of out-of-pocket expense. Usually somebody's time and effort. Evangelism and worship, once again, spend less. 2 categories. The worship team does need some out-of-pocket money. The music that you see up on the screen, you got to buy it. There's out-of-pocket expense there so often for installation supplies. That's a small category. What we wanted to do in the evangelism part of it is do more outreach in the business community. Get this church exposed properly. That's one example. You get out and walk around and you're exposing the church to the local community. You want to, well, the gospel singing. We had the New Legacy Project. That gave an opportunity to get the church exposed to the local community. And what we want to do then is people come in here, sense the Christian community, sense the fellowship. If they're not getting their spiritual feeding in a manner that's satisfying to where they're at, or if they're not getting it anywhere, we want to make sure that they know that this is what you can expect here when you come to visit us. We're not trying to take people away from an environment they're happy in. A lot of people out there that would love to be here if they knew what it was like. We want to get them here and expose them. So there's some out of pocket. In most cases, as always, a lot of volunteerism, a lot of people's time, but there's also some out of pocket. The last 2 items is where we spend the majority of the money that is contributed through the tithes and offerings. You own a piece of property, you're going to have expenses. Heat, light, electric, all your utilities, water, we got to pay all those bills. We got to mow, we got to clean up the snow, we got to put down the salts, we got all those expenses. With the interior here, you got to keep it clean, you got to have a cleaning service, got to have to replace certain things, the elevator requires maintenance. There's all kinds of property expenses. We wanted to do a few other things this year, so we watched how we spent the money. So we spent less. You know, probably could have bought some other furniture. Some things that we wanted to do, did do, we did more with volunteerism, which I want to buy about. Last item, you have an organization, you have programs, you have facilities, you're going to have, somebody's going to have to manage it. Kind of like Pastor George would have to send me a message every Sunday. He's got bills to pay too. We've got office expenses for supplies, but telephone, IT, there's all types of anything that if you worked in an office or you work anywhere and you see the office, you know the expenses are there. Add it all up to $103,000 right this past year. Okay, before I take any questions, let me show the next slide. What I did here is kind of, it took the last 3 years, condensed it into 3 prime numbers. If you look at the top line, the tithes and offerings received, the trend has not been in the right direction. You heard Lisa, you heard Bob, you heard Pastor George talk about the programs. This is not a Stonehaven only consideration. There's going to have to be changes, there's going to have to be programs we've got to get out and get the word out. Stonehaven is here for you. Come to us like. Build the congregation. We want more people here that are getting the kind of spiritual feeding that they need. So, with the budget versus the actual, this comparison, I'll take any questions you have. After that, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the financial report for 2018. Of all people, Mike, you got a question?
Question slash information. How is Pastor Sheila compensated? And what does that mean for the future?
Pastor Sheila's compensation is minimal, and it's covered by the conference. When I say minimal, it's $10,000, and it's covered by the conference for last year and for this year. That ends in September, I believe. And then it's going to be our responsibility to pay that.
Is that in the budget? Is that in the budget?
Probably isn't. Obviously, you knew it wasn't, so. Okay.
I don't think it's the church that paid her, I think the church no longer will pay, and that she won't pay that church. Unless she's in doing something, particular position, otherwise she won't.
I thought that would be the position. And the conference, I'll make that decision.
Couldn't quite
Okay,
get
we
that.
couldn't hear what Pastor said.
Pastor George says that when the reimbursement from the conference expires in September or October, whatever it was in that part of the year, then in all likelihood, there will be no additional out-of-pocket costs to Stonehaven. Either the conference will cover it, or the church, which is at now. So, most likely, there won't be any additional expense as a result of that reimbursement. Yes, sir.
Is the money that's spent for missions, is that included in the evangelism portion of the budget?
Can you say a little bit louder, please?
The money that is spent to support missionaries,
Yes.
is that included in the evangelism portion of the budget, or is that something separate?
The money that's received for missions, that's earmarked specifically for international missions or local missions, goes into a pool. That money is used specifically for missions. If the missions contribution exceeds what's contributed, yes, it's in that number. And it did last year. Probably to the tune of, I'm going to say, close to $4,000. Okay. Now, I am going to be around afterwards. I won't zip out of here real fast. If something crosses your mind, I'd like to talk about it. You don't want to take everybody else's time right now. It's crossing your mind. Come see me afterwards, and I show up on Sundays too. So glad to take your question. I would like, Tom, got a question?
Make a motion to approve your budget.
Second, motion made, second. Any further discussion?
Who's second?
Linda?
Who is second?
Hearing none, those in favor say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the report is approved.
Sorry.
Oh, guess that's what they think about my 2019 budget. Without going into a whole lot of additional discussion, as you can see, the 2019 budget is primarily based on 2018 expenditures. To a great extent, roughly $200,000 is about the bottom line for all the add-to expenses. Cost of property, cost of all the committed expenses. So we can't go a whole lot lower. And as I said, your board, the people that are responsible for spending the financial resources of this church, are very free. The budget expenditures are watched very closely. We're very comfortable. So I can take a quick look at that. I'm going to flip up the next slide. There's two world missions that we've supported consistently over the years. Both couples, the Van Tifflins and Mellingers, have been here, have made presentations, have made pleas to the church. We made repeatedly over the last several years commitments. Now, this commitments means we're going to pay the $4,800 whether we get the contributions specifically for the missions or not. So what I want to ask is a motion to approve the 2019 budget and the commitment for world missions for 2018.
So moved.
Jerry makes the motion, a second. Seconded by Mary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, raise your hand, say aye. I didn't mention that, but that is correct. Roughly 2, maybe 3 years ago, through a very generous donation from a prior member, our mortgage was paid off. We do not have a mortgage commitment. Just the cost of maintaining the property. No insurance, no taxes. There's insurance, but no taxes. But yes, thank you, Linda. We're very blessed not to have a mortgage payment. Okay, those in favor say aye again. I'm sorry.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we'll consider it to be passed. Any final questions before I move on to the sign?
I have just one. So-
Yes, Mary.
So the money that didn't come in is being just taken out of the cash that's in the bank to pay the expenses?
Yes.
That's what's happening.
If the giving is less than the expenses, it'll first come out of the $10,000. It was in cash and bank. If that gets depleted, it will start eating into the other major reserves. Which means instead of setting money aside for future large improvements, we'll start to have to eat into that specific fund. If you go through that whole fund, I probably won't be standing up here in the next few years. That's not going to happen because God's got a purpose for this church. God's got a purpose for this community. And we're too important to God's word not to get through this difficult time. Do you have a slide of the sign? There it is. If you recall, it goes back to 2017. The board, your official board, spent quite a bit of time looking at an electronic LED sign for up front. And the discussions, through all the quotes, and it came down to design. Finally made a decision, got a rough idea what the overall cost would be, not only for the sign, but the site preparation, engineering, as we do work over there. It's about $40,000. Pretty blessed. We're roughly a little over 80% of the cost has already been received. What happened is Linda Roos and I went to the city of Troy, ready to start the project. This is late 2017. We get final approvals and permits. The guy told us the night before at the city council meeting, they put a moratorium on any new LED sign installations for at least 6 months. So that was going to, we didn't follow it. We couldn't submit plans for approval at that time. So we said, okay, we'll wait till the end of May, see what the regulations say, because it wasn't supposed to affect our sign at all. It's these big have billboards that look like expressway signs that had a lot of people in front of them. Well, as you get closer to the end of May, they weren't ready, they extended it, moratorium further, so put it through the October before they finally approved it. Now, got to be so late in the year, so look, now we'll just wait till 2019. So that's what we're doing between now and summertime. We'll finish up the plans, get them submitted, and make sure there's been nothing that affected our plans. Hopefully the cost estimates we got will still apply. We'll go through, finish up the funding, and get the sign installed sometime, hopefully this summer. You guys with strong backs out there, first thing we gotta do is beat down the bricks and level out this site area. You can always pay somebody to do that. We got some strong backs out there. It makes the swing a slugs here. The more site preparation we can do, the less the church will have to spend on pocket. Okay, with that, any questions on the sign, the budget, Linda?
That $40,000, that included us doing some of the labor to prep for that sign?
Yes.
Or that included that?
Assume we're gonna do the majority of the site prep.
So if we don't do it, we have to come up with more funds.
That is true. But we will. I see some strong backs out there. Okay. No other questions? I'll turn it back over to Pastor George. I appreciate your attention very much. I actually can turn it over to Ed. Ed's actually going to speak this time, by the way.
We have a few words. We have an election. Before I announce the results, I'd like just a moment to thank all three candidates, Linda, Bob, and Mary. The delegate position involves a lot of time, energy, and talents. And the fact that they're willing to serve is a wonderful contribution to our church. So let's give all three a round of applause. But we do have an election, and I'm pleased to announce that Bob Beardsley is elected delegate for 2019.
Thank you, Ed. And again, thanks for making yourself available, Linda and Mary as well. I want to add one thing that was not on our agenda was that in 2018, there was a request that the pastor and the board would develop a oversight guidelines for the trustee board. I did not furnish a copy here, but I can have one available for reading for those that want to. Michael, as the head of the trustee, is again a part of the board. He's at all of our meetings. He's just not a voting member, but we do have some official guidelines on how the board, the trustee board functions. We will make that available. Should be available Sunday. But in addition to that, the standing rules of official boards continue to be responsible to work at filling all leaders' positions. Now, there's two options for that. One option is that there can be the election of a team, okay, by the board. Because of our numbers, we have decided not to go that way in the past. And so unless anybody has any objections to that, then we will continue to have the board exercise the oversight for filling position. Okay. And also, we will have to have the board approve the final minutes for this particular meeting and all of the election that was made, as well as all of the other information, budgetary information. So they will do that. A copy, as Don said, is available for anybody that would like to review it. So in closing, I think I left one thing out. I was going to announce that with Ed had been over the men's retreat in the past, but Ed stepped down from that, and we have two people coming on board to co-share that, and that is Thomas Kraft and Joe. Who's Joe? I think Joe must have left already. So those are the two that will be overseeing the men's retreat. Actually, we'd like to do some things on a more frequent basis than just once a year and sort of tie it into that, but we don't want to overburden you with all the details of that. So if there's no additional discussions right now, then I would like make a motion, someone to make a motion that we close. Okay, motion is made by Don to close the meeting, and second by Jerry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it. God bless you. See you on closing prayer. Yeah, could you close in prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for all you've done for us here at Stonehaven. For all the people who come here, who are blessed here, who serve here. We have so much to be thankful for. We thank you for each person here today, the roles and contributions they make. We ask you to give them safe travel home today, and bless them, each one, throughout the 2019 year, as we continue to search for ways to serve you, serve our communities, and help become better disciples of yours. We ask all this in Jesus' name.
Amen. God bless you.
I was